Hello everyone. Today we're going to cover the pivot tables on Module 5. A few of you had some questions, some issues on the actual process. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. Well, actually starting at page 320, 321. We're going to start a case on the shirts industry one, inventory one on page 320, item 3. We'll start right on the shirts there. So what it wants us to do, and also this is probably going to take two parts. The first part will cover everything up to about item 12 or 13 before we actually get into the pivot tables. So if you don't need to see this, part 2 will cover that portion, and it'll cover up the remaining pivot tables. Screencast only gives me 15 minutes to show you the part. And unfortunately, this is a fairly large process, so I want to make sure you see all of it. So anyway, let's get the first part. We're going to make a table. I carry all the data. We just keep it in there. And the way you go in is you go insert, and there's the table. And where's the data? It's all our data. We have the table as headers. You say OK, and there it is. Then it wants us to format the table with, rename the table as shirts table. Excuse me. Again, if you noticed at the top here on the ribbon table, on the ribbon side, something happens. Design, the table tools pops in if you're in the data. If you're outside the data, it goes away. So you got to make sure that you are in the data. So put on design. We're going to have table 1. You're going to change the table name to shirt table or shirts table. And we're done with that. Then it wants to format the table with mod medium 9. We're in the design, so we can go right to the styles, bring it down, and you can go dark, light, medium. We want medium 9. There it is. Change the price data and the stock data. So let's go ahead and change that up here. We'll do the price. It wants us to change to currency with no decimal place. That's done. We'll do the in stock, and we'll format there as well, number and 0. When you're setting up your workplace, if you're setting up your tables, you want to make sure you get everything up in front, so you know how everything happens, because it's going to affect you further down the line when you're setting up the pivot tables. So here we have it. That finishes number 3. Number 4, make a copy of the shirts worksheet and rename it. The easiest way, and what the book says to do, is you put control, you're on shirts, and you just bring it right over. And there you go. All you got to do is rename it now. And it wants us to have sort by style. Sort by style. And you're done with number 4. In the sort by style worksheet now, sort the data in ascending order by style and then by in stock. So the way I like to do it, I always try to make sure that I'm in the data. You're right there. And then you go to home. You're going to sort to custom sort. The first one it wants is style, A through Z. Add another level. It wants us in stock. But this one, it wants us to go largest to smallest. And if you see, everything just changed right there. So we're done with that. Filter the shirts table to size by size to remove the youth extra small and ladies extra small sizes. So what are we going to do here? We're going to go to the size, and you see it's got everything's, it wants us to select all our sizes. In our case, we don't want the ladies and we don't want the youths extra small. For whatever reason, it may not exist, so you don't need it. And if you see, your data's gone down a little bit. And then insert a total row that shows the total shirts in stock. Change the total row to total shirts. Excuse me. So I like to go down. We note there's nothing for totals. I bring it still into data. That way we can go back to the design. And right here, you have total rows. And you click that, and it shows your totals that you have right there. And it also wants us to rename total to total shirts. Total shirts. And just make it a little wider so we can see that. You're done with number 7. Number 8 wants to split the worksheet window into 2 horizontal panes. So how do you do that? Well, I normally start right up the top here. And you go to View. And here you want to split. So it says go 2 up. Once it's here, View, Split. And if you notice, that's where it splits. And it says bring it down to the totals. And you have the totals there. When you come to the top, you can bring as many down as you want. And it's a pretty cool thing to have. And if you did it up there, you could bring it all down there. So now you have a split screen where you can see any of the information that you want. 9, make a copy of the shirts worksheet and then rename and copy by filter by color. Okay, let's do that again. Again, shirt, control, put it over here, rename it to filter by color. Filter by color. And in the filter by color worksheet, filter the shirts table to display only the T-shirt style. So T-shirt style, it wants us to have only T-shirt. So there you go. You have only T-shirts, and it picks up, go down, that's all you have. So you're done with 9. Next, it wants to insert a slicer for color. Position the slicer so that its upper level corner is in there. Again, I put in the design. It's not going to show up here. We're not doing it in the table here. What we're doing is it's not in there. It's in the insert. There's your slicer. Enter slicer, and it wants it by color. Enter color, OK. Move it over to G1, and there you have it. Now, you can see your slicer tools options is the same thing we talked about before. If it's not there, if it's not within the slicer, If it's in a different place, you have nothing. If you're in a data, you're going to have the design. If you're in with the splicer, I put that just pink. There's blue, there's white, there's yellow. So it doesn't matter right now. We know the data's there. We're just looking at the options here. So what we want to do is we want to look at the height to 1.8, bring that down to 1.8, and the width to 1.2. And there we have it. And then format the slicer with slicer style dark 1. Again, we're in the slicer tools options. There's the styles we've got, and it wants us to have slicer style dark 1, and that would be dark 1. You see that it's changed. Use the color slicer to further filter the shirts table to display only blue shirts and white shirts. What you do here is you put the blue on there, it's on, and you control white, and that shows you got colors white and blue. You have no other colors there. That's how you use your splicer. We used to use that quite often. We used to call it, I want to see a splice and dice. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're splicing and dicing to get your data, to get to the way you want, so you can analyze it and say, okay, what am I looking at? What makes sense to me? Depending on your data and how you're working with your data, this gives you the way you can figure out your analysis to a lot of things that you can't just look at the data by itself. So that covers up to number 11. Then 12, filter the shirts table so that it displays only blue and white t-shirts with a price greater than 10. So here we're going to look at the insert. Wants us to look at filter the shirts table so that it displays only blue and white shirt with a price greater than 10. So format, I believe I can do it this way. Number of filters, and it wants us greater than. You can do it a couple things. You can do it this way, or you can put, you leave select all, greater than, not equal, but greater than 10. Sort the filter data in ascending order by price and then in descending order in stock. So we're done with that part. And you see everything over 10 is there. And then if we cover it here, go for our data, we can look at the data again. And we go for a filter, custom sort. It wants us to ascending order by price, ascending order, and then by stock, descending order, stock, largest. Watch what happens here in your data. It changes. At that point, we're at almost 15. This is it for today.